guys, to our weekly live show.
Yeah, no.
Sorry for the nod in the tongue. This time it's just me and Sarah. This is more or less last week. Oh.
You and Sarah and Emily.
And Emily, welcome here.
Hi guys.
Miss Producer.
I'm
Sure.
I'm moving. It's okay.
So yeah, last week Sarah and I vanished somehow into Holiday Land, whatever it was. We re-emerged, and but we lost Nico. The Overlord decided to capture him and drag him over to Switzerland, and force him to hold a speech there in front of students.
A bunch of university students.
Yes.
He's been enslaved. If you want to help us rescue him, please pay money to this konto.
And we'll go to Zurich and get him.
Exactly.
Okay, so I will get started with the news before I head back to my post controlling the live show areas before we get to Schmitty's more sneak peeks for your DLC lovers out there. Okay, so for those of you wondering about our PS3 submission, I think I get probably 15 comments a day or about where's the PS3 version? When is the PS3 version coming out? Despite how many updates I put out about it, you guys are really eager and passionate about when the PS3 version is coming out, and we don't know because it's in submission. But I can tell you it's in second submission now. And we're 6 days in, so it's looking really good. Usually, if Sony finds a bug after 1 or 2 days in submission, it stops the submission process, sends it back to us, and then we resubmit. So the fact that it's gone 6 out of 10 days, 10 days on average that it takes, and there has been no bug reports from Sony is a really good sign. So hopefully this is the one that goes through, which will be really awesome. Yes. As soon as we get word back from Sony, if there are no bugs and everything looks good and the submission is passed, then we get a release date, a confirmed release date within a day or two after that, in which case I spread it all around the world so that you can all know when the PS10 version is coming out and sleep peacefully at night, I guess. Okay. Currently, we're in the planning stage for our next Kickstarter, which is Ravensdale, like we said last time we were on the show. We'll be kicking off the buzz for our Kickstarter in a very small, casual, laid-back manner at RPC Cologne on June 1st and 2nd.
That's the role-playing
I'm
convention.
sorry. Ben just said we all look beautiful. Thanks, Ben. We're like, no, don't look. Oh my gosh.
Sisters are falling.
So on June 1st and 2nd, we'll be in Cologne at the RPG convention. If you want more information on the convention itself, or if you want to come say hello to us at the convention, you can still buy tickets because it's It's not. I wouldn't say it was small, but it's
awesome.
It's great, and there are still tickets available, so that's a really good thing. The website is rpc-germany.de. And I'll put it up when I go back to the computer there. So shortly around that time, around June 1st, 2nd, probably a couple days before, we'll be launching our Facebook and social media campaign. So there'll be a Facebook page and homepage and all kinds of lovely stuff for you guys to look at regarding Ravensdale, if you're interested. Wii U fell a little bit behind these past weeks because of our contract projects, and no, we can't talk about our contract projects, so sorry. and because of our PS3 submission, but it's more or less back on track now, and it's in line for submission right after Sony gets released. So it'll still be a little while before we have any news on Wii U submission because we're still in the porting process of that, but as soon as Sony is done with and we're released on Sony and we've got the community set up on Sony, which we'll probably have more information for you next live show, then we'll get ready with the Wii U submission. So I think we'll probably go into submission probably beginning of July, maybe mid-July into submission for Wii U, probably. But we'll probably have more information on that in the next couple live shows as well. So also last Thursday, Schmitty and I were guests on Capsule Computers' podcast. We met these guys recently through our awesome Australian community manager, Mary. They're a really cool team of guys that run a hub for games journalism, basically, and they have this really cool podcast called CC Unplugged, and we were featured on it. Me and Schmitty just had a fun Skype call with them where they asked all kinds of like dirty details, questions about the process of Gianna and Ravensdale, and so there's lots of they asked lots of questions, like all of them constantly. So it was really awesome. We kind of both got to just like talk their ears off the entire time, which was really cool. They were really passionate about us, and we were really excited to be yeah, like Ben is mentioning in the chat right now, Kickstarter Queen and Mr. Etc. is what they called us, which is really cool. They were a bunch of really great guys, and we look forward to doing guest spots with them again. So their podcasts are awesome. The guys are fun, and it's hilarious. And if you want to check them out, it is capsulecomputers.com.au, and you can click their podcast icon in the top right hand side of the page, right next to Google+. And lastly, our replacement stuff has been super quiet the last couple weeks, and that's because we haven't had much of an update on it, which has totally sucked for us, just as much as it sucked for you. Trust me. But now we've received a few things from the manufacturer, not everything, and so Mark is currently whittling away at the, what is it called? I think it's, can't remember the name of the program, but it's this program where you have to put in all the addresses, and it like spits out all of these address tags, and he has to sort them and organize them, and I don't envy that, but he's doing a great job. So he's going through all of our replacement addresses and sorting and getting the address tags ready for the people who are going to be recipients of the next batch. Like I said before in other updates, we're not doing it in any particular order. We're just, if we get the items that your package has that you're expecting, then we just send it out right away. So like if you just have the t-shirt and we've received t-shirts, then we're just going to send it out as soon as we can and not wait. So this means that people in higher tiers could get theirs later if they have more items. But if like a $150 tier is waiting for just a shirt, for example, they would get theirs right away. We just actually, I believe we received one shipment of shirts, so we're waiting on a couple more. But so it's coming in, which is really good. But yeah, so now with the news over, I will turn it back to Schmitty and.
How did this Mr. Etc. happen?
Because you wear so many hats. You get it, Mr. Etc. Remember? Did you get it? Etc. means.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, right.
I think it's
still confusing.
She get a t-shirt. She get a t-shirt where you wear around conventions and stuff. That's Mr. Etc. I'll wear the Kickstarter Queen one. How about that? When we go to Cologne, I'll do that. I'll wear Kickstarter Queen and I'll wear.
Wasn't there any plans of putting me into a hilarious owl costume?
Maybe if we go to like Tokyo Game Show, we can do that.
Wonderful. It will be the ultimate boost of my career.
Yeah, but you should definitely come to the convention. Cause where are you going? Are you going to the convention? Are you guys going?
I'm not going. I'm
to the RPC. I'm on the RPC.
Yeah. I'm going too. So at least be me and Schmitty, not Sarah, because she's moving.
I'm sorry. I got a new apartment. Yay!
Okay, I'm gonna go back to these guys and go back to my cave over here.
Cave. Okay, so question answering time, right? Oh no! Wait! I have juicy stuff for you guys. I prepared some exclusive content for you, taken from our work in progress of the add-on.
Dum dum dum.
Actually, I'm very proud to present it. We will start with in-game airships. I was taking some footage of our airships for you guys. After that, we will have a little walkthrough, at least through parts of the level. Oh yeah, here you see them beautiful, right? I love those. Yeah, so basically that's what finally happened after the artists were done with the airships. still a bit of tweaking left. So as you can see in the background, the ship in the background has no propellers rotating yet because most of the ships will use animations instead of rotation settings are used for the front ships. As you can see, the style of the ships is in the Dark World pretty much inspired by Asian ship designs, and in the Acute World a bit more inspired by steampunk airships meets Western sailing ships. It was kind of awesome. No, so let's switch over to the little walkthrough to level 4-3. Let's remember back if you were this was not the beginning.
Sorry.
As you remember back, this is the level where I hadn't had any concepts for you last time when I showed off the concepts of the other levels. So this is a bit more detailed walkthrough. So in this level, Gianna basically is aware that the Overlord has this massive fleet of ships and his airborne owl factory spitting out owls and wants to reach him. So what she's doing is she has hijacked one of the ships, and then when she rendezvous with the fleet of the Overlord, tries to move from ship to ship, the head of the fleet, to reach the fortress of the Overlord. So this is basically, the first part is basically an introduction into the airships. We have lots of repeater stuff going on in the level. Introducing the turrets, the new ones. As you can see, I'm using still the totems here, you know, from earlier levels, like for example 2-7, where you have the fire-breathing totems. I just use them as a placeholder artwork. So if you see a green missile, this is supposed to kill Gianna anyway when she's hit. If you see a bone, so let's say brown or tanned missile, that's only killing punk Gianna, but not affecting cute Gianna. And the hearts are a replacement for the missiles that are ignored by punk Gianna, but are killing cute Gianna. So this is still highly work in progress material here. Will probably be more juiced up and enriched by the end of the week.
So tomorrow.
Basically, yes. No. Actually, instead of going home after the show, I will go back to my PC and work till late night to finish this level finally.
Ben has a question for you in the chat.
A question.
Will the sails be moving because of the wind?
The sails not, but the fins and the engines of the ships will definitely move. It's quite sad since we're yeah. This is by the way the repeater challenge. One of the repeater challenges I was talking about during one of the last live shows. It's utilizing basically one-world platforms so that you can change your route through the repeater maze and try to fetch every key possible here.
Jeez.
What? Yeah, you should have tried it at the moment where I hadn't adjusted the camera to be fixed. It was impossible. It was just turning you crazy. So what you see here is one of the new enemy types. This is the snail or the spire. It's not perfectly implemented now, but in one world it's a slow spider, which you can use as a platform, in fact, if you jump on the shell. And in the other world it's a speedy crawling spire that tries to kill you. So the first time I showed this to Sarah, she was all, ew!
Stop creeping me out.
It does. It's really creepy. I don't like it.
Yeah. Actually, I can scale them as large as I want, so I had the idea of maybe for another DLC, which is coming after the Overlord DLC, to have giant spires stomping through the levels. Here, sorry. So yeah, basically I placed these airships very generously throughout the levels because I love them so much. Probably the artists will cry big crocodile tears at me when they see this. Because it's basically a lot of polygons in every airship, and I used a lot of them. So this is the main bulk of the fleet now, where you see our Ikaruka turrets, we call them, spitting a lot of mixes out of different projectiles you have to evade carefully. Yeah, actually this beam should be, well, a complete beam that is killing you when it hits you, but yeah, I have some technical issues now, but I think we will solve them. So, here, so much for the videos. The next stuff I want to show you are basically how we want to handle story in the Gianna Sisters DLC. So, every level of the Gianna Sisters add-on, so the Rise of the Overlord or Angry Owls, not sure how we call that in the end, has basically its own loading screens. So, if you remember the loading screen where Gianna as a shadow is jumping from the left to the right, basically every level will have its own loading screen, which is telling a bit of a story. So for level 4.1 you see there's a cage, there's Gianna, and it's somehow hooked up on a tree. And basically we will have multiple animations in the background that will tell the story like a children's book or like a Japanese shadow theater, if you know what I mean. So this is one little scene from the animation planned for level 4.2. Same animation, only a bit earlier. Yeah, I still hope that we can get the explosions. This is from level 4.4, the Airborne Fortress. This is after Gianna has visited the fortress, basically. This is one of my favorites. Everybody's kung fu fighting. This is a loading screen of level 4.6. So you can expect stuff is going to happen there. I have a complete animation. It's looking like a little cartoon if you play all of them. I don't have them with me right now because it's just me and my, well, petty designer skills trying to create art. So I'm not that good at this stuff, but it gives every artist who looks at that an idea, and I hope that we get some really amazing animations for the loading screens then. Yeah, so that was basically all the stuff I wanted to show you for today. Hope you enjoyed it and are eager to see more. We'll prepare more next time, I hope. And that brings us to another topic. These are the questions and answering panel, right?
Yes. I think so. I can ask questions. So, is there a sequel plan for Gianna Sisters Twisted Dreams? Schmidt.
Okay, I'm actually not getting tired of answering that one. So, yes, there is.
Because we never had that question.
Yeah. Yes, there is a sequel planned. What I can tell you about this is that the new Gianna Sisters 2 will have a complete clean up new code base so that we can do more amazing stuff with it than with the original Gianna Sisters. And I'm really eager to work on that game as well, and again. But however, right now we are pretty busy with our contracted projects and of course Ravensdale in preparation, so it won't happen too soon. But I keep you in the loop about that.
And that kind of answers the next question. Are there any other games that are in the works?
Ravensdale!
Yes, we are currently prototyping that.
Yeah. And you might ask why we're going to RPC, so role-playing convention with that game. That's because people there love steampunk, and it's basically our own kind of punk, if you want to say. So derived from steampunk and turned into something similar but different as well. So stay tuned about that. So we think it will work out great there to kick off the Kickstarter stuff there.
No, I'm so sad I can't go really.
Aww.
Yeah. So
I could bring you some little presents from there.
And especially because I think all my favorite bands are again playing there. So no. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, next question.
Okay, so what are the current projects anyway? Just porting GSTD onto the PS3 and the Wii U? No, pretty much answered that one too.
So we could have probably answered everything in one go,
Yes.
but so basically yes. A part of the team's working right now on contracted work. As Emily told you, we can't tell you anything about it, for it's highly secret stuff, all highly insured by NDAs. So if I talk about that, I would go to jail. I don't want to go to jail. I want to be here for you every 2 weeks, so I stay and tell not anything about that. A small portion of the team couple of programmers is right now working on the porting stuff still. So targeting the next thing. I'm not sure what is right now targeted. I'm a bit out of the loop there. But we are eagerly awaiting that the PS3 version is now going completely through submissions, so that we can have a big check mark on that, and of course have again burgers to celebrate that.
Yes.
If you're actually inhabitant around Germany or close by, why just don't drop by and have some burgers with us then?
Yes, Emily makes super burgers.
Oh yeah, Emily's burgers are the best.
We just have to say every lunch, so she keeps feeding us with burgers. So her burgers are so awesome, really. Oh my god.
Okay. Next questions before we have a lot of drooling people sitting in front of the screen.
How do you make the cutscene for the DLC?
Yeah, so basically it's a mix between flash animations and animation captures. So for the more complex stuff, we will have an animator which is roughly animating the stuff so that it looks great. If we turn it into shadow arts or into flash animation stuff, and easier stuff like the cage dangling or a lantern that's dangling somewhere. We will flash animate by hand. I think that answers that question, right?
Yeah, sorry, I wasn't listening. I was trying to read the chat and I just can't see it.
Okay, I can tell you what there is.
No, don't.
Oh, you can make it bigger. Wonderful.
Yeah, thank you very much. I'm being trolled again. Anyway. Yes, next question. Is there a beta version coming?
Before I answer that one, I go forward to answer Ben Can's when are there burgers question. As soon as we know when we pass submission, we will find a date and then simply tell you.
There's another question by Sasha. He asked basically because for the DLC, because we feature in the DLC the Wheezy levels.
Oh yeah, right.
That this doesn't have any influence on the difficulty right now from the genre levels.
Exactly. We keep the levels as they are, and basically we have versions of the levels that are easy-fied. So you can choose at the beginning if you want to have to switch to Wheezy mode. In Wheezy mode, as we call it, probably there will be no achievements unlockable, maybe a few, I don't know. I'm not sure about that. But most of the challenge stuff, which is rewarding, will only occur in the normal mode.
Yes, and first there will be, I think, only Wheezy levels for the DLC, and we try it out then and wait for feedback, and I think...
Yeah, and if it's working out well, we
will add this on top of the... on the genre levels right now. So you won't lose levels as they are, it will be all in addition to what we currently have.
Exactly. Also keine Sorge, alles gut.
Alles gut hier. Okay, so the last question, and I just love that one. So will Ravensdale...
We don't answer the Rita thing, right?
Didn't you answer that? Sorry, I wasn't listening.
No. I was switching to burgers.
And
sorry. Then we switched to Sasha's question.
My head. I'm so sorry.
No problem. So
is there a beta version coming?
Not sure about that yet. It is not planned. We first want to target the big three. After we target the big three, we are looking at where everything is going. If we're going for Linux version, or going for Vita version potentially, or we're going for Shield, or we're going for Ouya. Everything will be decided as soon as the VU version is live of the game.
Exactly. Can I now please ask my favorite question?
Yes. If you must.
I will. Will Ravensdale contain a boss, NPC, whatever, named Schmitzler, Zombiert, or Schmidtdorf?
Sure.
So from a developer point of view, I can't tell you about that because I'm right now not involved in Ravensdale whatsoever.
But I am.
But she is, and she loves Zombiert. She was, before we started the live show, was all over that name, so... Yeah. Stay tuned.
I would never do such. Sorry.
Yeah, no, couldn't keep a straight face. Okay, so if you have any more questions on the chat,
Can you minimize the questions? It's kind of irritating.
Sorry.
if you have any more questions on the chat, now is time. If not, we're switching to discussion mode.
Discussion mode on. So let's talk about.
Let's give them, let's say, 5 more seconds for typing. 5,
Ding 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 ding. No, I can't read the chat anymore.
1. Okay. So, discussion mode engaged. So, what do we have here? What thing do you want to like to start? I'll leave the decision to you.
I don't have my dice to roll, so I just start with the second one because it's uses my English. Suggested. What is your opinion on abandonware and emulation scenes? A testimony of video game history or a hypocritical form of piracy? Dun dun dun!
Is the camera still on? The blue lights have vanished. Ah, wonderful. We're still online.
It's just being really weird though. It's okay. Keep
It's
going.
kind of late.
Okay, so everything's really on the technical side again. If you have technical problems, just tell us.
Keep going. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's very laggy. Just wait a moment. I think we are on our way to sort this out.
I can.
So I guess I'm still lagging, right? Ah, better, much better. I see movement. Okay, so again.
There were no technical issues. Let's move on. Discussion topic. I did this with a straight face. I'm so proud. So again, what is your opinion on abandonware and emulation scenes? A testimony of video game history or a hypocritical form of piracy?
That's a tough question.
Yes.
If you view it from a legal point of view, I think something like abandonware isn't really existing. So I'm not sure about that. But from the legal point of view, it's really not existing, except if someone declares it's open source or something like that. So I guess if someone declares that it's open source, it's okay. However, I don't really know how to answer this in a polite way that is not. Yeah, basically, let's put there an example of what I use emulators for. When I use emulators, I owned once a Super Nintendo Entertainment System. I don't own it anymore. It's broken. That's very sad for me. But I still own the cartridges, so I have absolutely no problem with getting my hands on those games. But this is just me on a moral point of view, because I paid once money for them, so for me it's like having a license to do that.
Yes.
For other games I'm interested in, I'm always unsure. So I wouldn't dare to get my hands on anything that's right now on sale anywhere, or which has a high chance of getting re-released, in fact.
The thing is, where do you get it if it's not on an emulator, for example? For example, I recently played again in Indiana Jones 4, I think, The Fate of Atlantis. And if I hadn't owned it, because I own it, it was one of the first games I got back in the days. I had to use an emulator, in fact, to play it because it wasn't running under my Windows 7 anymore. Dun dun dun. So, what do you do in these cases? Because you have to use it, basically. And even if I didn't own the game and I wanted to play it, how do I get it?
Sure.
This is one thing. Yeah, maybe you can't just get any games that were there 20 years ago and you just want to play them. So, yeah, even morally, is it then wrong to just emulate them?
I think you're asking, was this really the wrong guy? So I'm one of those guys because of my professional background who's absolutely against piracy, but I can absolutely get your point of view.
Yes.
You have this beloved game, you know it, you want to play it again, and it's nowhere to be found. When you ask me as a gamer, I say this is a case where it's okay.
Yes.
If you ask me as a developer, I don't know how to answer this one in this case. Really, it's problematic.
Yes, this is one thing, and it's kind of problematic. And on the other hand, I mean, it's kind of flattering if you are a developer, right? I mean, if in 20 years from now, some dudes want to play Giant Sisters, Twisted Dreams, and have to emulate this shit, I mean, would you be angry about this if they do it then?
I don't think so.
So, I think as a developer, it's kind of nice if people really want to play your game. It's for me, it's. If it's like a classic and you want to play this classic and can't get it anymore, it's okay, it's one thing. It's another thing if you pirate actual games. I mean, if I would get out now and pirate our games, would be, it kind of sucks. But if you now emulate, for example, the great Giant Sisters from the Commodore 64, it's something totally different for me because you just can't get it. What would you do if you want to play it? It's weird.
Yeah.
Yes.
Emily, do you want to add something to the discussion? I think it's dying right now.
You can move on if you feel like you want to move on.
Okay, let's see if there are any questions in the chat about the discussion.
Yeah, and please tell
Can you
us.
can you increase the size again for Sarah?
I will get glasses. I just will get glasses. We need just to.
Well, personally, I don't think that I don't know if I can consider it piracy if you've already bought the game.
Absolutely. If I bought the game, for me, as I said, it's like owning a license. For me, I have the right, basically, to play it.
Yeah.
But I know that law departments of big companies see it really differently, which is really sad.
Yeah, it's kind of really.
So it's like
It's like how it should be with movies, for example. It's like if you pay to go see it in the movie, you should be just purchasing the right to see that movie, and you should get it every way you want to watch it. Not pay for the movie, then pay for the DVD, and pay for the digital copy of it.
Sure.
You know? It should be all one thing. Anything more than that is just purely for profit, which is like. And then and you're using an emulator to play something that you cannot possibly find, then it's one person playing your game who would not have played your game otherwise if emulators weren't available. So you have to kind of see that as
the voice from the office a bit too.
Come and join us, Emily. Just come and join us.
They can hear me though, because that microphone is great.
All according to plan.
He said it's not loud enough. So
Whatever.
sit down.
I have to make sure that there's no more lag. I'm pretty sure that the lag is from someone downstairs. There's probably just traffic on the network. That's probably what's going on because we can't really shut down the office while we're doing the live show. So it happens.
Stop working now.
It happens every now and then. But yeah, I don't know. Like having, if you're using an emulator to play a game that you otherwise wouldn't be able to play because you couldn't find it, I don't know if I consider that stealing because they wouldn't have played it. That would be a loss, you know. But I don't do the books for BFGs, so I guess if I did, I would have a different.
So let me bring up a point which is occurred to me not so long ago. Let's say you take a game which has been released, let's say 7 or 8 years ago on a console that's now outdated, which was, for example, Zelda the Wind Waker in this case. And for a short period of time, the only way to get it was to go to one of the flea markets and look if you get a console and the game somewhere, and the game is pretty rare.
Yeah.
To get it, or the other way was to get your hands on an emulator to play that thing. So I own the original, I own still a GameCube, so no problem for me. But after Nintendo said, yes, we re-released it for the newest console in HD, I was wondering, what's happening in those cases? Let's say,
Yeah.
it's a bit difficult to tell actually. I mean, you could actually argument, yeah, I want to play the original version in the original graphics and like it was. But probably someone at Nintendo would argue, no, we own this and we're releasing it, so buy it. Buy our damn Wii U and buy the game.
I guess if they were re-releasing it, then it would be a different, I guess, separate game, right? Because it's a different, it's a new release, so they're selling another release. So then I guess that makes sense, but at the same time, and it also makes the original version have this more of a sense of exclusivity to like I have the original, so that's better, and I want to play the original. You know what I mean? But I guess in that case, it would be considered a separate release. So is that another?
Yeah, it's a question again from Sasha, and he's asking what's our opinion on fan-made stuff to fan-made game adventures, because there were many projects that were turned down, and normally it should be something that developers approve of if fans make stuff on their own. And
for example, like the multiplayer Mega Man game, that's a complete fan project and Capcom approved it.
Yeah, I think that it's a good thing.
Me too. So especially because I don't know, but I think many of game developers themselves come from modding scenes. I know I do. Mm-hmm. So if it wasn't for modding, I wouldn't be here. So
I mean,
I'm a fan of fan created stuff. I really love it.
Here's the same. So this space is a discussion stuff. We are agreeing on too much, guys.
Okay, I just say I don't like it.
No. The problem here is that when Nico's here, he's always playing devil's advocate, so it's like... But modding, I think fan-made stuff is,
Actually, it has a commercial value for the companies. I mean, you do something great, you have something great done by fans, which is attracting probably people from other demographics to your game.
I can see how company heads might view it as a bad thing, because it's kind of like stepping on their toes a little bit. Like people are like, say I have like this really, really awesome fan-made game, and then you're like in the middle of trying to create a sequel or something, and then this big fan-made one comes out that overshadows your release almost, and like you know what I mean? I don't like that can happen.
Yeah, well then hire those people.
That's by the way actually how Valve handles stuff.
Yes.
That's how Valve handles stuff. Valve sees awesome fan project.
You're
hired. For us now. You're hired. Welcome on board. Handshake, cash.
Every company should do that.
Yeah. For example, if you have a look now at Neverwinter, it's an MMO released with basically the opportunity for players to create their own stuff and to directly upload this shit into the MMO, and other players can enjoy it and can rate it. And this is totally cool. I really love this. I haven't used it yet because I just don't have time for stuff right now, but I wanted to have a look into it, and I think it's just a really cool opportunity.
Well, I think that's kind of coming with the way that consumer trends are going. Like people have to have more control over what they purchase, otherwise they're not going to spend the money, because they're not as frivolous with. Well, they're simultaneously more frivolous and not as frivolous as they used to be, because people want everything for free and want everything as good quality as if it were $100, or as if it were like a AAA title. You know what I mean? They want to have control, and then on top of that, they want to have control over what they buy, and they want to have control over the developers who give it to them. You know, who they want the developers to. And while especially indie companies rely so much on the communities, I mean, we're one to talk in that area. There's a certain extent of how much control the consumer should have over the developer, but it's a growing trend that the consumers, you know, they're more demanding. They want to have more tangible products to sink their money into, and they want to be given like the ultimate bang for their buck. So modding is a part of that, right? Like, I mean, obviously it's like, well, if no game is perfect for me, and these developers aren't taking my ideas because I'm just one person who bought the game, then why won't I'll just make my own, and that's worth more money than getting a game that is, you know, okay in my eyes. So I think that modding is like it's good. I think it's good, like for large titles, especially the multiplayer titles. I think it's going to be like necessary in the next 20 years for sure.
Sure.
Like necessary
This part of the market will grow.
Yeah.
Definitely. And the thing is, I think it can even keep your IP alive for a while.
Yeah.
Because the thing is, you
When did
release the
Neverwinter
game,
come out? Like,
but when you release the first title and that you support modding with it, and then you're working on the second title, and it will take like three years to get to it, and you just have the community run those 3 years with modding stuff.
yeah.
Then when the sequel comes out, it will be just like, okay, you have this whole community, and they will just jump on the second game.
Yeah.
But if you don't have that, and your first game will be, I don't know, forgotten after 6 months, and when the next one comes out, it's just like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
I don't remember the first one anymore. So I think that's a cool thing.
I think we should move on to the next topic.
Yes, that sounds like an
It's
idea.
like 7:45. Where's your
I did lose
It's
the-
gameplay versus story. That's the next topic.
Oh yeah.
There was an article on Gamma Sutra that says the debate between gameplay versus story should be over. So we're starting a discussion. Is it the case? Should we move on from this point? And because there was a long discussion.
I mean, I can play the devil's advocate in this case if you want to.
Go for it.
Go for it.
No. I guess someone else will start.
Well, I just thought, because I'm sick of this debate, so could we please really move on with it?
Me too. I think that it's again, here we go, agreeing with the article, because it's not games aren't one thing anymore. This is like the ideal of early 80s going on, where games are, for young guys in their teens, like, or sitting in their basements, like, playing Mario, Super Mario, whatever, like, and it's one type of game, like, it's one, maybe not one specific genre, but it's one area of gaming, it's one little unit of gaming, and they're all similar, and they all play sort of the same, and it's just one area. But now you've got these, like, you've got the retro style games, and you've got huge multiplayer and like huge MMOs, and you've got single player super story driven games like Mass Effect or Dragon Age, for example, or that can be turned into multiplayer if you want. And then you've got interactive movies as well, like Heavy Rain and things like that. Or there's just such a wide area that you can't just say what's more necessary, gameplay or story, or gameplay versus story. It shouldn't even be a question anymore, because there's so many huge areas of gaming that you can't just say which one is better than the other. It's like saying, our casual games versus hardcore games. Like, which one? Neither is more necessary than
It's
the
in
other.
my opinion hardly depending on the game you're doing it for. When you, for example, have a Mass Effect, and now we're talking Mass Effect 1, probably it's the focus for that game should be about 60% story and 40% gameplay, maybe a bit more of the story. But if you have something like, as you picture it, Tetris, for example, this is something which is 100% gameplay in my opinion, and doesn't need a story to be good or even great. So,
yes. I just sorry.
It really depends on the. Is there another word for experience? I was watching the final bossman today, and he was like hating the word experience. I love that guy, by the way. Check out on GTTV, the final bossman. It's great. Experience. Let's take the experience. You have your experience. You want to deliver this tasty chunk of experience to your audience, and it depends on what the experience is. So if you want to tell a story, then of course story is in the foreground, and gameplay is probably just a layer around it. If you say you have an action adventure, for example, then probably story and gameplay are standing on an equal footing. For example, if you then have a puzzle game, probably you have more gameplay and maybe just a bit of icing on the cake, which is story. So it's more in the background. So it really depends on actually what type of game you're developing, how important what part is. I think the most important thing about story versus gameplay is that there is no versus actually. Those should fit together. This is what it is. Both should work hand in hand and not against each other.
Yeah.
And this is the reason why I'm also sick of this debate, because both things are kind of important to a game. The one for another type heavier, that they're not, or maybe equal. But this is depending on the game. But they should always work hand in hand and not against each other.
I just really hate this like, well, you need story in your game. Yeah, why? If you have a great game and it's great without story, then why force yourself to put a story on top of it that at the end isn't fitting at all and just breaks the whole gaming experience? If you have a nice game and you just don't have to do it, like Tetris. No. Just no. It would break everything. On the other hand, if you have a great story, you don't have to add super much gameplay on it. If you just have Heavy Rain, it's awesome as it is, and just go for it. You don't need genre action on top of Heavy Rain. Really, it's just it's giving me a headache.
You get into the debate then if a game has such minimal gameplay as Heavy Rain, then can you call it a game? Like
really?
Yeah.
Really?
That's another debate right on top of it. But the thing is, like, once you add a smidgen of gameplay, like, it's pretty much a game, right? Like, interactive movie would be a game. It's the idea that you have to fit every little thing into a category is kind of it limits developers as a whole, because as developers you need to be able to expand your mind and like come up with ideas that are going to reach as many people as possible, and so your game is in like in the homes of as many people as possible, and saying, oh well, that's not a game if we do this, or it's not a story if we do this. It's just it's holding back the ideas that could potentially push the game that much further and reach more people. Because that's the ultimate goal, is to get your game in the hands of as many people as possible. Right? So if you're just like, oh, well, that's not a game. Like, my day, that's not how games work, because it's not retro, it's not hardcore enough. Well, then you're just losing out on a huge market, potentially, which is just stupid. If you want to be, if you want your game to be successful. So,
yes. I think it's just very important for developers to know upfront what they want. And if they don't want basically story-driven game, then just don't do it, and just don't force it. And if you want to do story, then please do it properly and see that story and gameplay, as Schmidt said, fit together. And you don't have like you're the super duper hero who just smashes everything in gameplay, and then you have the story part and you get into cutscene modes and everyone is bashing your heads and you're just sitting there like,
oh yeah.
Why? Why? I thought I was Superman. Why am I in a cutscene now? This is just stuff. If you do story, please do it right, and if you don't need story, then just don't do it.
Calm, keep calm. Start stomping owls. It will help you. Okay. By the way, I have to mention that Sasha is completely on our side. If I not misread it, thumbs up for that.
Yes, sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
what is it?
Sorry.
You don't.
North American
You
over
don't.
here.
You notice it's the same with Serious Sam. That's a game that simply doesn't need a story.
Yeah. Okay.
It's a dude with a sweet T-shirt,
Yeah.
big guns, and lots of foes.
Yep.
Yeah. And this is actually, I was testing the latest game of that one, I think yesterday, for research purposes, and it was just nagging me that it had story in it. So I jumped into the game and I had some weird cutscenes and I didn't even read them. I was just like, let me play this game. I don't care.
Yeah, I mean, as a flip side to my earlier argument about limiting yourselves by refusing to expand, if you try to force both sides too much, you end up pissing off the entire both sides. So it's like you've got people who love story instead of gameplay, or love gameplay more than story, and then you're trying to cram both of them equally, but it's not right for the game. Then you're just pissing off both sides, and you're failing in both areas. So you have to find the balance. I mean, a game isn't a game without gameplay, because it's a game. but
Really?
but if you try to force story onto a game that isn't going to work with it, then you're just making it worse.
Yes, exactly. And I have to say, I'm a huge story fan. I'm a huge fan of story-driven games, and it's really hard to say for me, game don't use story, but yeah, it's just, it wouldn't hurt so much games if there was story put onto it, and it would just break everything, and it still wouldn't be even a good story in the end. Yeah. So, you're a story-driven game mob too, right?
Me, okay. Don't count me in anything in my playing experience in any of these, because I am like the most casual, like impatient, like ADD player in the known universe. I'm so like, I have just a short temper and like a short attention span, and like I suck at it, like everything, and I have like horrible reflexes. So I'm really only gonna enjoy. And I really love stories. So, for example, like, I really love the new Tomb Raider. I really liked Dishonored, but I had both of them on like the easiest mode, and I still was like, fuck, like the whole time, even though I loved them. But yeah, I love story-driven games. I kind of need it because just like a platformers and stuff, not my thing. Because I mean, you've watched me play Gianna.
I did.
I actually had the honor of testing the children's version of Gianna, like the Europa Park children's game version of Gianna, and because I'm the worst player in the whole office, so if I can't play it, then no kids gonna be able to play it. So I'm sitting over here with the Europa Park version, like, motherfucker, I can't jump, I can't make it to the thing. How do I get past this level? And Vladimir's like, what? Why can't you do this? And I'm like, yes. Like, well, then I don't know. But the kids are probably better gamers than I am anyway. So, but yeah, I'm a fan of story. I would say more so, because if now you all know my painful secret. This is why I'm a designer, by the way. Because I probably wouldn't.
That's why she's a producer. She doesn't count.
So you are the superhero noob woman.
I mean, I went to school to learn how to make games, and I can make them. But if I make them, they are very simple.
Press A.
And they are full of wacky story adventures because, I'm just not a very complicated designer, I guess. And that's really not BFG's style. Apparently, this is super difficult platformer. Haven't made it past World 1 in Gianna, just so you know.
I don't know any BFG person who does difficult games. Levels, no.
Yeah.
No.
None of them.
No.
Oh, I think we're close to the end, actually. If you guys you can wrap it up now.
I want to greet my mom, and I want to greet my... wait.
What?
No. I mean, I guess we're not a talk show, right? So let's skip this part.
It's in German.
It's just that he was annoyed that Jana was criticized for not having a story, and it's a jump and run, and it just doesn't need story, and the dragon captures Maria, and
Sure. I read lots of critics, and I read lots of critics about that. And I guess the fact is that most people really didn't get it. I think this is that's what I read between the lines. So many people criticized it has no story, but very many people, much of the people outside there weren't really getting what was happening there. For them, it was just the dragon eats a girl, and there's no interest in following the dragon or something.
That's also a trend, though. I mean, again, it's getting more and more likely that, or more and more common for you to have to kind of spoon feed everything to the player, you know.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what people expect you to do, is to just spoon feed them this story and everything, and then it needs story because everybody needs constant, like, automatic feedback.
What I really like of subtle game stories is when you have enough room to interpret in the story. Then you meet with guys on the forums, and then you're starting discussion about what happened there and what's going on there. I really hope a bit that this was the stuff I prepared for the Rise of the Overlord, aka Angry Owls DLC. I can spark a bit this. Ooh, what is happening there? Oh, there's a cave. So, what does this mean? So, people really enjoy maybe puzzling their minds about.
Yeah.
I really hope that people enjoy it.
Looks good to me. Excited about it. Okay, we were gonna wrap it up then, I guess. I'm gonna say goodbye so I can go turn the thing off. But
We have to wrap it up.
yeah, and so in our next show will be in 4 weeks, not 2.
Because in 2 weeks is holiday.
Another German holiday because there are a billion in
Because
May.
May is awesome.
May is like one long holiday in Germany.
It's like a minefield of holidays,
Yes,
actually.
everywhere. They're like hugely long.
Actually, this is the only week in May that we have to work 5 days.
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Yes.
Next week.
Next week, Monday. is
No,
free.
Monday is free. It's Pfingsten in Germany.
Are you kidding?
Yes. We have a long weekend.
Fuck yes.
Have a nice long
This
weekend.
Monday.
Yeah, the coming Monday.
I love Germany so much.
Southern Germany, okay? This is celebrated everywhere in Germany, but Southern Germany
Okay.
has the
Yeah.
most holidays, really.
Yeah, we have the second most holidays in Germany.
Awesome.
Only Bavaria has more.
One. Yeah, but. And no, I won't make Bavarian jokes now.
Yeah, but Bavaria, but
Okay, so let's
Yeah,
wrap things
but-
up. Thanks for watching, guys. Nice that you joined in with the live chat. We see you again the week after next week, and hope we can present you more stuff about Ravensdale, more stuff about Gianna, and probably new infos to our next Kickstarter campaign.
Dun, dun, dun.
So,
And we hope to see you on the RPC in Cologne.
yes, so if you have time, if it's not too expensive for you, we're with 8 to 9 people in Cologne. Emily's there, I'm there.
I'm make a brohoof. Make a brohoof.
Drove right back at you.
And it's Cologne, so Cologne is always nice to be there. So go for it. Go for it.
Exactly. So, have a nice evening and see you around.